Hello, everyone. Greetings on this Thursday, June 18th. We are here today to do a reading with the messenger cards. In case you don't know, I am the creator of the messenger cards. I did all of the artwork for them, and you can order them on my website at strokeofsoul.com. So they're an animal spirit oracle deck. And today we're going to do a reading for staying in your power. So this reading can be used at any time. But I'm specifically, it was for this week, but I think it would be something you could probably reference again if it really resonates with you, if it's something that really works for you to come back into your power. So, again, the way that my cards work, and I've got release the past here on the top. I always pay attention to the top card that just happens to be there. But how these cards work is they really help us to refocus our energies with our higher self in whatever question that we're asking. And it's also a really great opportunity, and it's really easy to see also what our resistance is to moving forward and to being in alignment. So there's going to be parts of us that are in resistance to actually being in our power and staying in our power. And we can have a look at that and really learn. We can go through how to start integrating that part of us that's in resistance to being in our power. So right, this reading is technically for the week of June 18th to the whatever I said it was. What was that? The 24th. But again, I think it will be something you can reference again if it really resonates for you. So, you know what? Let's get started. As usual, we're going to get ourselves centered. We're going to do a little bit of breathing and get ourselves actually into our alpha theta brain waves. And so this is where we get to when we meditate, or when we're being really mindful. And what this means is that our brain waves are going much slower, and we are in the present moment, and we are not in our mind trying to figure stuff out. We're not in our monkey brain or our lizard brain. We're actually connected to consciousness and to our higher selves. So it's really interesting. You can look at that really scientifically as brain waves, like being in the alpha theta brain waves. And you can look at it very spiritually, and as being, really connected, centered, and in alignment with our higher selves. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to get you to sit comfortably, and if you can, put your feet flat on the floor, because we're getting ourselves really grounded here is what we're doing. And when we do these breathing exercises, we're really integrating our divine feminine, our spiritual aspects with our physical body. So as we breathe, we allow ourselves to connect all parts of us. So our spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. And when they're all connected and we're in the present moment, then we're actually really balanced, and we're in connection with our higher self and being our higher self. We are ourselves, our higher selves, in our physical body, and able to operate and make decisions from that place. So let's start. So you can just sit comfortably. And we're just going to give ourselves permission to be here now for this experience, for this reading, for ourselves, to connect to ourselves and to do what it takes to actually to do the work. So, and in the work, I mean, we're connecting to our whole selves, right? So I want you to start breathing slowly, so you can even close your eyes, which helps in reducing physical stimuli. So it really helps in slowing down your mind if you close your eyes for right now. So, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. So just start bringing your focus to your breath now, and you're going to start breathing in and out of your nose if you can at a very regular, constant speed. If you can, without any breaks. So you want to inhale, exhale, immediately inhale, exhale again. And try to slow down your breathing then. So as you're doing this, slow it down more and more. And take your breath as low as you can into your belly. And if you can't take your breath low into your belly because you're feeling still some tension, just notice how far down the breath does go. And really consciously just slowing down the breath. As we are able to do this and as we are able to relax more and more, we were able to relax our body, continuing just to focus on our breath. And then we can, really notice our body and see what we're feeling and seeing if we're feeling any emotional or physical tension or pain. Continuing to breathe and allowing ourselves to relax and let down some of those barriers and some of that tension that we've been holding and probably weren't even aware that we were holding. So, and even just starting from the top of your head as you continue breathing, almost like bringing a veil of light from the top of your head slowly down your body. As this veil of light passes down and through your body, you relax those parts of your body and release tension from them. And the more we can become and be in a relaxed state, the more we are in our alpha theta brainwaves, which is a really wonderful place to be when you're doing readings for yourself or for others, because that's when you're connected. And you can hear your guidance, you can hear your higher selves, you hear your higher self, and you're in a place of receiving the answers that you're looking for, and you're in your heart space. So as this veil of light continues down, just imagine it. It's beautiful. I'm seeing white light just washing through my body and relaxing as it's going lower and lower. Go all the way down your legs, your knees, your calves, and your feet, relaxing your feet as they're planted on the ground. As we start to relax more, we actually become more grounded. We actually become more present, and we actually start to feel more safe to be here. Like we belong. As we are more present, we're not in our mind, we're not in the past or in the future, we're here right now, able to receive answers. Because when our mind is really active, when we're in our other parts of our brain, in faster brain waves, we're not in receiving mode. We're not able to receive guidance and, receive inspiration. But we can actually be in this place, in these alpha theta brain waves, when we're in an awakened state. So it's a more relaxed and present awakened state where we're able to take inspired action and receive guidance and be really, really present and focused. So then our mind isn't somewhere else in the past or in the future. So it's in a really we're really present. So I encourage you to practice doing this every day, and even if you can, you know, twice or even 3 times a day for like 15 minutes, just to get yourself here more often, to practice being in this place of relaxation more often. And I guarantee your life circumstances will start to improve, because you're changing your entire point of attraction. You're raising your vibration, and you're absolutely changing your vibration in what you're putting out there. And when the more we're connected to our higher selves, the more we're actually attracting the stuff that is higher vibrational, the stuff that we really want to happen in those opportunities. So I'm going to shuffle the cards now. Hi, Lulu. And Wen Scott. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hello. So I'm shuffling my cards now, and I'm just gonna bring my screen down a little bit here, camera down. So just shuffle until they feel finished. And then as I said before, you may notice that cards pop out while you're shuffling. So those are generally, that one really popped out. Those are generally the cards that you want to pick. Otherwise, you can just spread them out in front of you. In case you're new at this, some of you might not be new at this, and you have your own way of doing this, which is perfect. There's our third card. I'm picking 3 cards today. As usual, this is a 3-card spread. The first card goes in the middle, and it's how we can refocus our energies to come into alignment with our higher selves, with our question. Again, the question, oh, hi, Raylene. Hi. Didn't recognize your email name. So the question being, how do I stay in my power at this time? And so the first card, is how Spirit is telling us it'll be the easiest way for us to come into alignment with our higher selves, to be able to stay in our power. The other 2 cards go on either side of the center card, and they help to fine-tune the frequency. And I use those 2 cards really intuitively, because not only do they define the frequency and give it more, they just fine-tune the center card and the frequency of the center card. But sometimes intuitively it's like, oh, this is my masculine and my feminine. And it's just, I use my intuition, and it's just really obvious. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what these cards are. So, our first card, to stay in our power, is balance. So I'll talk about these cards in just a minute. I'm going to show you what they are first. So that's our center card. That's what Spirit is saying would be the most helpful for us to really be aware of and to focus on, to put us into alignment with our higher selves. So balance. And the card on the left is the journey, which actually I pulled that card a couple weeks ago. And the third card is the dragonfly with being. So we have the butterfly, we have the Arctic wolf, and we have the dragonfly. So I'm going to talk about balance first. So what is it in your life that you are doing too much of or not enough of? And so balance, first of all, is we can look at this in a couple of ways. We can look at this as our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical aspects. Those are the 4 aspects of the medicine wheel. When those are all in balance, then we are very centered. So looking at, and even within each of those quadrants, where are we balanced? So if we look at emotionally, are we emotionally balanced, or are we getting, are we being really thrown out of ourselves emotionally? Are we able to take care of our emotions and pay attention to them and allow ourselves to feel them unconditionally? without the story, so that we can just process the energy? Are we able to do that for ourselves, or are we highly reactive right now? Or do we have really intense situations that are coming up, and are we reacting and going into other places? You know, are we going then? We're not staying really present and feeling and staying really present. We're actually getting triggered and reacting in the old way that we used to react, right? So that's emotional. Mental balance is like, are we in our head too much? Are we in our monkey lizard brain too much? Are we allowing ourselves to be, for our mind to be more relaxed, and for us to use our mind in a way that is very helpful? So is our brain overreacting? And then, so there's our brain and our mind, which are actually two different things. And so we want to be able to use, like, our mind is, I see our mind as being more connected to our higher selves. So is our brain just completely taking over, right? Where then we're completely in negative thoughts. We're in those really painful mental cycles. And so how often are we in those painful mental cycles? How often are we able to relax our mind and feel really present, right? And then there's the spiritual. So how often are we connecting to spirit? And it is, you know, are we able to be in our spirit, be aligned, and be really present in the physical? Or like, I know I work with a lot of empaths and healers, and often, and I used to be this way too, is like spending so much time in our spiritual, but not actually grounding our spirit into our body. And so we're spending a lot of time in the spiritual, but not enough time bringing that spirit into body and actually being a whole being. So there's that aspect. And then there's the physical. Are we taking care of our physical body? It's really actually important. We are physical beings, you know, so looking at what we're eating, and are we exercising enough, and understanding our physical body can only go so long without us actually taking care of it. So if we're not taking care of our physical bodies, really having a look at that. And or are you exercising too much, right? Or, you know what I mean? So having balance there, and actually being aware of how much we're taking care of our body. So there's the medicine wheel that way. Are we in balance, or is there just something really glaringly obvious in your life that you know you need to bring into your life to bring yourself into balance? Like, or maybe you have your mental, emotional, and your spiritual, but your physical, you're not really taking care of your physical body that well, right? So it's like, no, I need to really look at my diet or exercise, or it's you know, the spiritual. You've been in the physical so much, and the physical can be lots of things. It's not just your exercise and your eating, but it is also, what are you doing in the physical world, right? It's what you do physically, it's your work, it's your physical life. So it's like, maybe your physical is really great and balance, your mental, emotional, but maybe you need to connect more to spirit, because now without your continual spiritual connection, actually everything's going to start to go out of balance, you know. So really looking at what it is you need to maybe bring in, or maybe you're doing too much of, like, maybe right now, and I'm guilty of this, maybe watching a little bit too much Netflix or something, and knowing it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of, it's a, you know, everything's okay in moderation, but it's like, maybe, and you'll know, because it won't feel in alignment with you, and everybody's different, and only you can know what's in alignment with you, right? So so I'm going to just look at these other two cards here to tell us what it is, a little more specifically, we can look at for bringing ourselves into balance. So I want to get this right. So I had the white, the Arctic wolf on this side. So that is the journey. And, okay, so it's saying that more of us need to really look at our soul journey, our soul path, what it is we really want to do in this life. That is our heart's journey, and it's also something we want to do here in the physical world. So it's something, it's a deep heart journey that you will bring out and do in the physical world, right? So it's a very passionate thing, and it's very important for your life and your soul's journey to actually bring you into balance. So without that aspect, in your life where you're kind of pushing aside this thing that you really need to do for your soul and for your evolution, it's actually putting you out of balance. So what is that experience that and this, yeah, we can also look at the shadow aspects of this in a second, but what do I want to say? Yeah, let's look at the shadow aspects of this. So why is it we ignore what our soul's journey is, right? So what resistance do you have to doing that for yourself? So whatever it is that thing that you know you need to do, and this can be in any aspect of your life as well, right? So this can be career, this can be relationship, this can, whatever that is. So, but what is it in your life, in your soul, that you know you need to do, but you have resistance for? And what's really helpful way to start working through that resistance is actually just to feel it. So where are we resistant to? Where in our body do we feel that emotional discomfort when we think about doing that thing, right? And just starting to breathe and just to relax and just to feel that discomfort, allow it to expand and to start moving, because it's energy that wants to move within you. And when we can start to do that, we start to get so much clarity. We start to be able to do those things that we're really afraid of. But you can even journal on this. So it's like, I know deep down this is something that I need to do in my life. You know, your life is not really truly your life until you can start doing these things that your soul is asking you to do, right? That your soul, it's part of your journey, and you're not doing it, and your life is like, okay, I know I need to do this to really feel like me, to really feel alive, and to really feel like my life is full, has meaning, and is balanced, right? Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the third card here. So this is being. I love this card. Dragonflies to me are so magical. To me, they're like fairies. They're like fairies in the real world. And there's such a great reminder of how magical we are and how much magic there is in this world. It's a reminder to me of the whole elemental world, that everything isn't as we see it, and there's so much more going on that we just can't see with our physical eyes in this 3D world. But as we start to evolve, and we start to relax and move our consciousness higher into the fourth and the fifth dimensions, I believe we're going to start seeing more of these energies as we open our mind and we raise our vibration and we let go more of the three-dimensional aspects that really tie us down, that are not necessary for being here. then we'll start experiencing more and seeing more of these aspects. But what this card is specifically saying to bring us into balance is actually, it's really a type of detachment. So it's being in this world but not of it, and a lot of us have heard that phrase before. But it's being able to step back and notice our life, notice situations, and from our higher selves, being able to look at situations and not be right in the energy of it. Understanding that this situation, these emotions, and these thoughts are not the whole of who you are. They're a very small part of who you are. And as we can notice that, and from this space of our higher selves, from wholeness, we can allow ourselves to feel unconditionally and to notice our thoughts, as opposed to being in our thoughts and actually believing them, especially when they're thoughts that are not serving us and aren't in alignment with us moving forward. So so being in this world but not of it so much. So allowing ourselves space to step back and to look at ourselves, our situations, our emotions, and our thoughts, and basically everything from this higher perspective. And in order to do that, it actually, we do need to be in a more relaxed space. We need to slow down our mind, breathe more deeply, and not be so caught up in everything. So if you can notice where in your life you're really caught up and you're getting really pulled in every way, mentally and emotionally and physically, you're forgetting about your spirit, so where is this happening? And allow yourself to pull back, right? So this is going to help you to be more in balance. So the two aspects here it's saying for balance is looking at what it is right now your soul and your spirit are calling you to do. And this might be something that you have been knowing for a while that you need to do and have been really afraid of doing that. Really start looking at why you're afraid of doing that and finding support to move forward with what that is. And then the other aspect is stepping back from it, being able to look at it, slowing down, and being more in alignment with your higher self to be able to look at these situations. And I mean, when we do slow down, then we receive guidance. We receive what we need to move forward. We have clarity, right? So we're not so stuck in that situation. So so that's what spirit is saying right now in general in the collective. It's like what we need to be in balance, right? So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And also looking at maybe what resistance you have to being in balance, what resistance you might have to being more like to moving forward in general. So being in balance means you're really aligned and centered. And so when I talk about staying in your power, that card is really beautiful for that, actually. That's an internal power, right? Then that we can then, when we're in alignment, and this is talking about alignment, so that we can be in our power, right? And this is an internal thing. And when we are in this alignment, when we're in this balance, then we actually can be much more effective in this physical world. And we're much more powerful in this physical world in a really good way, right? And we affect others in a really good way. Our lives are affected in a really brilliant way. And we are actually light workers, right? We're doing our thing where we are, it's really all we need to be in in alignment is to be in balance. So, and then there's also, this is really interesting because I can also look at this as the masculine and the feminine. So to be in balance. So to me, this is very much, the dragonfly would be the feminine, and the journey is would be like the masculine. So being in balance in our spirit and in our physical body is also, bringing us in balance, and being balanced in our masculine and our feminine energies. So are we too much in our feminine energies without any boundaries, without our masculine boundaries and sense of identity, right? Or thank you, Wen says, so relevant, thank you. So are we too much in our feminine where we don't even feel like we really belong here? We just feel like and I know I have felt like this, oh my goodness, in my life. So feeling like I don't belong here, like I am just the spirit and I have so much spiritual connection, but feeling like I don't belong here in this physical plane. Like, I'm like, this is too painful. I don't want to be here. This is too painful. But what was missing was my divine masculine energy to help me feel safe. And like, I value myself and my gifts, my feminine gifts, and my spiritual connection. So that has to be within me, my own divine masculine energy, really honoring my feminine. Or am I too much in my masculine where, you can ask yourself that. It's like, am I too much in my masculine and not enough in my feminine energy, where I'm not allowing myself to express my ideas, my creativity? I don't feel connected. I feel very disconnected from people. So the feminine is our connection. It knows that we're connected. The feminine, to me, is like, our feminine aspect of ourselves knows that we're connected to everything and everything is one. So it really has no boundaries. And that's a really beautiful part of the feminine, but it needs the polarity of the divine masculine to give it boundaries, right? To say, this is who I am. I'm an individual, and I am awesome, and my gifts, I'm here to bring these gifts out, right? So am I too much in my masculine where you're not honoring your feminine and your gifts and your intuition and your creativity? Are you not allowing yourself to express in any way who you are and your gifts? So I think that I'm just wondering, I'm just checking in to see if there's anything else. Just being in your power. Being in your power, to me, is really about sovereignty. And you do need to be in balance to be sovereign, because as a sovereign being, you are very expressive and very creative in your own way and in your gifts, but you're also very grounded and you're very strong, and you have your own connection to the divine, right? And you don't give your power away. So that's another thing about balance and being in your power and in your sovereignty, is you start to see very quickly when you're giving your power away to something that is not a good way to invest your energy, because it's not giving anything back. You're not getting anything back that you need. And so it means you're giving your energy to something with, you have to look at your intentions then for why you're putting your energy into this thing. It's basically an energy leak, right? Because you're putting your energy into something and it's not coming from good, like really solid intentions. It's not coming. So you can give, and if you're giving something to somebody, always look at what intentions you have for giving or doing. It's like, is this something I am actually giving from my heart that really feels like I can give easily and it's coming from, the whole part of me? Or am I giving because I'm expecting something in return? Am I giving because of a sense of lack? And there's no judgment here, but sometimes we give because we don't believe we can receive by just being ourselves and being honest. So we give to, it's actually very, I don't like this word, but it's very manipulative, and we're not doing it consciously, but it's never going to give us back what we fully need. So we need to look at what our intentions are for why we're giving and what we're doing all the time, right? Really questioning that, and starting to say, well, no, that's been a pattern of mine. I've been giving this and my whole life, or feels like my whole life, and it's like that's not coming from my spirit. It's not coming from my heart. It's coming from a place of lack. It's coming from and it's not actually truly giving. It's only when we're truly giving from our whole being, with our open heart, knowing that it's something we can give from our whole heart, then we receive in one way or another. And that's the giving receiving cycle of the masculine and feminine as well. So that's a part of the sovereignty and being in our power and being in balance, is where are those energy leaks happening. So really looking at those and starting to change those habits where we're giving all kinds of energy to stuff, because then we'll find that we're not getting other stuff in our life done. We only have so much energy in a day. So if we're giving all this energy, let's say, to a relationship that's not working, or we're even giving energy to a relationship because our mind is it's spinning, right? We're not in a place where we're actually like moving forward and making good decisions, and we're stuck in the mental, right? This is an energy leak. So really looking at where those energy leaks are happening, because we're not in our power at that point. We want to look at all of those aspects to stay in our power, to stay aligned and stay centered, and to be connected to our higher selves, and then we are fully in our power. So, wow, I think that's it. So I thank each of you for coming and joining me, and blessings to you until my next reading, and be well and love yourselves and love others.